Welcome to the Ur-Quan Masters. That's right, I've decided to just try and play Star Control 2, the Ur-Quan Masters. As you can see, I'm assuming that's going to be the credits. Yeah, that's the credits. It just rolls if you don't move, if you don't do anything in the menu for a little bit. This is the Ur-Quan Masters version 7. It's actually written at the bottom. Plus HD mod, so it is in HD. And it is still in beta, so there are kind of bugs and stuff like that, but it works pretty well. The beta refers mostly to the HD parts and all kinds of little things that they added in terms of quality of life of playing through the game. This game is originally from '92, and it's one of my favorite games ever. I was 2 when it was released, but I did play it later in life, and I really love it. It's an amazing game that the experience is so unique, and I don't think was ever any game that was as amazing as this, because of the experience is so unique, and it's not really something that you do in these days anymore. And a big part of it, is the captain's log that you can see at the right side of the screen, which is this thing. This is a WordPad. Don't ask me why I'm using WordPad and not Notepad or any other thing to write stuff, but this is WordPad. And I'm basically going to be writing my own captain's log. And the reason is that there is no captain's log in this game. It has an amazing story. Okay, I'm just going to let the credits run. It has an amazing story and tons of lore. And you talk to alien races so much. And they tell you so many things. And if you don't write them down, you're going to not know them. And some of them are, coordinates. Just numbers that you have to remember. And that's kind of impossible. So I'm going to be keeping a captain's log. And when I played this game as a kid, I actually took tiny little notes, actual physical notes, and wrote down things. And what we're going to try and do is share the experience with you. Instead of doing it on actual pen and paper, I'm going to do it here so that you can actually see my captain's log, which I think is really cool. I've been wanting to do a gameplay series, a walkthrough, or just a let's play of this game for a long time now, and I just played through Pillars of Eternity, and I decided not to start Pillars of Eternity from scratch now because I wanted to try something a little bit else. I am flying to MIT in a month and a half, so we're going to try and finish this in a month and a half. I think about 2 or 3 videos every week, and hopefully roughly 15 hours we'll be able to finish this game. If I'm honest, that's not going to happen because there's a lot of text and we're going to be listening to every single bit of it. This game has full voice work for every single line of text, and we're going to be listening to all of that, and it's very heavy in that sense, but it's really interesting. I really love it. If you'll get into it, it'll be really cool. And I have a lot of games that are just not willing to play this game, and I really think they need to. So maybe this helps in a Let's Play to actually show you this incredible game, really incredible game that I believe anyone who likes games, and anyone at all, should really check out. So that's my introduction for this Let's Play. Hopefully that's nice for you. I'm going to press new game. I want to note that this is still beta, so it might explode. It shouldn't, but it might. I've gone through the setup. We're not going to do it now because there's a lot of options there, and most of them won't mean anything to you. I went through it, and it seems okay. I haven't played this HD version ever, so this is the first time for me with HD graphics, which is really nice. It's a wonderful project. This is completely free to play, by the way. You could just go ahead and download it. Just look for the Ur-Quan Masters HD, and you will reach the website, and you will get this. You can also get the original, the Ur-Quan Masters. This is original music because I love the original music. There's tons of wonderful music. Original voice acting. And it's awesome. Please let me know if the sound levels are okay. I checked them, but I'm not completely positive that they're fine. And I'm going to press new game, and we're going to just watch the introduction. There's no sound during the initial thing for some reason, but it's just music in the background, so it's not a big deal. We're not missing anything too big. So let's get started. And this is my mouse, which is completely useless. I'm going to put it at the left. Interstellar Frangi League. Don't ask what that is. You'll get it. You'll see it later. Oh, and you have some red part for some reason. Okay, this is the Ur-Quan Masters based on the source code. Originally created by Fred Ford and Paul Reich III in '92. And set free into the open source community in 2002 and enhanced to HD in 2012. There were many great battles. There's no voice for this, so I'm just going to read it. Earth and her partners in the Alliance of Free Stars. against the evil Ur-Quan and its hierarchy of battle thralls. The lack of music kind of ruins it, but whatever. Because it's much more dramatic with music. And the Ur-Quan were winning. Meanwhile, on the edge of the unknown frontier, an amazing discovery was made. Far beneath the surface of an unexplored alien world, a huge underground city. Wow, the HD's funny. Filled with the technological wonders of an advanced alien race, the Precursors, who vanished 1,000 centuries ago. But then the main Ur-Quan fleet broke through the Alliance's defensive line, isolating the planet, stranding the scientists 100 light years away from Earth. They waited hopefully for a rescue vessel, which never came. And so, 20 years have passed. We, the survivors of the research mission, have colonized this world, as you can see. We continued our investigation of the underground city, and they found its purpose. And we have discovered its purpose. It is a factory. A factory for building starships. And this is your starship. The HG is really cool. But there aren't enough materials to make a complete vessel. We can finish only the skeleton of one starship. But that must be enough. Because you must captain the vessel. Me? Okay, I'm sorry. And return to Earth! Exclamation mark. To travel the great distance, you must push through hyperspace. I remember this picture, like in the old animation, in the old image. Find out what has happened over these many years. It looks really cool and weird. Tell Earth of our plight. It's like pushing into hyperspace, which is really cool. And if the war with the Ur-Quan still rages, fight for Earth and the Alliance as well as you can. Captain, what is your name? This is completely new, by the way, telling you that you can choose your name. And for some reason, you have the little bit red part, and I wondered how to remove it without ruining it. Will doing this work? Yes, it actually did without ruining too much. Cool. So yeah, I fixed the red part. So what is my name? My name is KOKOStern. And what is your flagship's name? It's Zelnik and the Vindicator is the name that they gave it. Oh, well, all caps lock. It needs to be all caps lock. Stupidity. Oh, and you can't see the edge of it. That's odd. Because I'm writing the Koko ship. But you can't see it. I'll try and fix it for next time. Maybe it'll fix itself. No, it doesn't. There's like a part where you can't, that's just stuck. It's not really important, that part, luckily, but okay. So this is the Ur-Quan Masters. I hope you can hear me properly over the music, which I don't want to mute at all. And all right, so let's get started. Wow, I have not played this game in a very long time. So I'm using Enter and Shift, basically go into the menu and go out of the menu. And this is the star map with a couple of new features that I will not try now. We'll try them a little bit later on. Well, actually, you could press F7 to see the pre-war map, which doesn't really tell us much right now, and we won't go into. And we can view the constellations, which is really cool. It basically just draws lines in these constellations, which is really nice to see. It really, I like it a lot. In any case, so this is the star map, and this is where we are. We're currently in Sol, which is our, where we are. And you can actually search for planets. You can search for planets, and it actually fills up and tells you where the planet is, which is really nice. That's actually present in the main game itself as well. Aside from that, I can check out the manifest of my vessel, which currently has 0 cargo. These are all minerals that you use. This is basically the money. Devices, I have none. My roster, I basically have 1 Earthling ship, which kind of sucks. And that's it. In terms of the game, you can save, and they added the best thing in the universe, which is actually naming your saves, which wasn't in the original game, which I absolutely love. So, starting out with 2 U's for some reason. Other than that, there's the settings to remove the music, which I won't do because I really like the music, and the music is a really important part. Hopefully, you can hear the sound of my voice on top of the music, and it is not incredibly intrusive. Actual fights in the game, which you will see later on, you could just let the computer play for you and put the cyborg on. I'm gonna be playing myself because I like the game. Change the name of the captain, the name of the flagship, and other than that, let's play the video game. So we're in Sol. The thing that makes the most sense is go to Earth, and in case you're unfamiliar, Earth is the second, the third? No, the second. What am I talking about? It's the second. In case you're unfamiliar, I'm making mistakes myself because, yeah, I'm an idiot. So I'm moving with the arrow keys. This is my maximum speed, which is really shitty, and my turning is also incredibly bad because the ship is really just a skeleton. You can see that the Earth is surrounded by some red thing, which is weird. And now this happens.
Attention, interloper. Heed this recorded message. This drone vessel speaks with the voice and authority of Ur-Quan. You are trespassing within Ur-Quan space. This world, Earth, may not be approached for any reason, nor will hostilities against our orbital platform be tolerated. In addition, your ship does not respond to standard hierarchy identification transmissions, and is therefore deemed to be independent. This is not permissible. Only subservience shall be tolerated. This drone now leaves to inform the Ur-Quan of your transgressions. You are commanded to remain here and await the arrival of the Ur-Quan. Disobedience will be punished.
So, yeah, those are the Ur-Quan, and as you can see, they ain't be very nice. They're kinda mean. Kinda. Subservience is the only thing. Obey us. I heard that. Yeah. So those are the bad guys. Let's go talk to the good guys.
Attention, unidentified space vessel. I am Starbase Commander Hayes of the slave planet Earth.
Slave planet.
Hyperwave broadcast extremely weak. Situation critical. Energy cores exhausted. Scanners and deep radar are non-functional. We cannot identify your vessel. Are you the scheduled hierarchy resupply ship? Repeat. Are you the resupply vessel?
So, no, this is Starship the Koko ship, but we stand ready to assist you. This is the resupply vessel, and Slave Planet having a resupply vessel. What is going on here? It doesn't really matter what I say here, but I'm gonna be nice.
What? Never mind, look. We won't last much longer. Here's our situation. According to our oath of fealty to the Ur-Quan, we must maintain the starbase, but we have no space vessels of our own. And the shield prevents us from contacting Earth, so we're totally dependent on the Ur-Quan supply vessels for everything we need up here. We know there's a hierarchy base on the surface, but we can't contact them. The Ur-Quan were supposed to resupply the base at regular 5-year intervals, but we haven't received anything in almost 8 years. What we don't recycle, we can usually synthesize, but to do so, we need replacement radioactives for our generator energy cores. If you could bring us some radioactive elements, we can fabricate the cores ourselves. Are you willing to help us?
In other words, we need energy. Help. So, where can I find radioactive elements you need?
The fastest way to get radioactive in this system would be to land on Mercury and scour the surface for deposits of radioactive elements. But be careful. Mercury is a pretty inhospitable place. Watch out for earthquakes and those high temperature areas.
We will leave now to find the elements you require.
Make sure to mention this the next time I talk with our masters. I'm sure they will reward you.
Yep. So, okay, we get our first mission. We talked to Saul, and there's really weird things happening here. Last we know of, oh, by the way, the planets move. The planets don't move. Didn't move in the original version, which is really, really cool that they move now. So yeah, we're now a slave planet. Earth is now a slave planet. We didn't know that. The Ur-Quan apparently won, or something like that happened. Yeah, it's the third star. It is the second star. I'm an idiot. Okay, Earth is the third star. I'm really good at space. So, yeah, the Ur-Quan apparently won. Lame. We'll find out what happened a little bit later. But now let's go to Mercury, which is the first. I know it's the first. Has to be the first, right? It's Mercury, right? It looks really gray, though. Okay, so let's scan it. This is Mercury, and we get information, which doesn't really help us too much. But let's auto scan it. So we get mineral scan, which gives us all these minerals. The energy scan, there's no energy signatures, and there's a biological scan, and there's nothing biological on this planet. And now what we're going to do, this is one of the small mini games. You dispatch a lander, and the lander goes on the surface. The thing is that the temperature is pretty high, and you can see that the tectonics is class 3, which means the two things are golden, so they're color coded, so you'll notice that they are a problem. The temperature is pretty high, so we might see flames, and if that hits my lander, it's going to take away its hit points, and these hit points are actually crew. If you look at the ship itself, the ship has 10 fuel and 50 crew members, and those crew members, 10 of them, well, actually 12 of them are going to go in the lander, and you need crew in order to use your vessel, so I don't want to lose them, is what I'm trying to say. What you can actually do is exit this menu, and you can actually just save the game before doing anything here. And Mercury. So you could just save the game, and then scan, and then dispatch. And if I screw up too badly, we're just going to load, which is totally possible, to not lose anything. So let's just dispatch and see how this works. So, okay, that's really bad, so I just got hit by a lot. But I'm gonna roll with it because we don't want to do this a million times over. And we're actually... Oh god, that was a tectonic right on me. So, I took... You can see when I dispatch, on the bottom right, there are two bars. One of them is biological stuff, which is there's none of, and one of them is for minerals. Just bar for minerals, and there is a point where you were maxed out on minerals, so you can't take any more, and then you just have to go back. That was actually incredibly terrible, so I'm just gonna load once and see. I wanted to see the speed at which it loads, which is almost instant basically, which is good, because if it wasn't instant, that would be terrible. It's a really old game, so everything is pretty snappy. There's no quick save and quick load, which is unfortunate, but other than that, we'll be fine. Okay, so let me pay attention here. Oh god, tectonic's right on my face. Not much I could do with that. Okay, once it does it, then I know that it's done. And you can see again at the bottom left. Now, note that every time that I dispatch, it costs me fuel, actually, because, traveling through space is easy and everything, and it takes fuel, but going into the planet and coming out of the planet also takes a big amount of fuel, because you have to maneuver break into the planet and get out of the planet, which takes quite a lot of fuel. So we don't want to go in and out too many times. Actually, we're going to do it 2 more times, and that's it. And it doesn't. I pressed exactly there, but it doesn't always happen perfectly. It don't exactly. Oh my god, really? Well, okay, that's the worst possible thing that can happen. It just went exactly on top of me. I have no choice but to load because I need that. I don't have another lander. And yeah, you could actually lose in this game. That has never happened to me, that I lost the lander and went back and asked them if they have a lander in order to help me. That might be a thing, but I don't know. I've never actually done this. Has never happened to me before. So that was perfect. So let's just save it again. And yes, we are going to save a butt ton. And oh god, I pressed navigate, which was a mistake. Just do this to go back into the planet because I can. Auto scan, dispatch. Alright, so let's go in here. Careful. Uranium. Okay. Okay, good. And now we're gonna do this one more time in order to get those over here. And we're gonna hopefully be right on top of the yellow part and then red. And no, fucking firestorms! No, leave me alone. Okay, I want that. Okay, good. That's enough for me for now. Maybe one more? No, I don't want to. I'm fine. That's good enough. I don't really need anything more than that. So we're gonna save after Mercury, and now I can actually show you the cargo in the manifest. So it's common, corrosive, base metal, noble gas, rare earth, yeah, precious, radioactive, and exotic. And as you can see, there's a number of a dollar sign next to them. Oh, you can't actually see the amount of things. It's so weird. Why is it like that? Okay, by taking everything out, yeah, but it's still stuck. I don't know why. I'll try and fix that later on in the next video. But you could at least see what's there right now. I have 68 of this, and I have 29 of this, and these are actually the amount that it's worth. I do have a maximum amount. As you can see, there's free 350. So if I keep collecting stuff, I will eventually fill out and I can't collect more cargo. So it is much more beneficial to take exotic and radioactive and precious material than taking a ton of common crap. So there is that play of what kind of minerals I want to actually have. So we're gonna navigate now, and we're gonna go back to Earth and see what we can do there, and talk with them. Hopefully we'll manage to do the entire first section, the thing that we do here, quickly. We'll see if that's possible in an hour. See if it'll take us an hour. So we're gonna talk to him quite a bit. So get ready for a lot of text. That's what happens in this game.
Did you find any radioactive elements for our power cores?
We are ready to transfer radioactives.
Initiating transfer of radioactive, Captain. Now, as soon as our engineers can refit the energy cores, that's much better. Power ratings are climbing. Life support is coming back into the green. Deep radar systems and sensors are now online, and I can scan your vessel. What the hell kind of ship is that? Just who are you, Captain?
I'm Captain KOKOStern of the starship, the Koko Ship. We are the survivors of a Star Control science research team to the Vela star system.
Star Control science mission, huh? Captain, I served as a Star Control officer during the war aboard several cruisers in the Corward Front. And if there'd been any scientific mission to Vela, I would have heard about it.
The mission was highly secret. Bitch.
You know, come to think of it, there were some rumors that Corridor 9, the Special Operations Division of Star Control, was directing some hush-hush operation near Androsynth Space. The Vela star system, yes, that would be the right direction. So, Captain, if you say it's true, how do you explain that huge alien starship you're flying? And why are you here? What do you want from us?
We have returned to Earth to give you the technological secrets of the precursors and to help you fight the hierarchy.
Fight the Ur-Quan. Win back our freedom. I remember having such thoughts myself once, a long time ago. That was in the first years after the defeat, when it was still terrifying to look up and see the bloody glow of the pulsating slave shield overhead. Though day and night we gazed up at the impenetrable wall as though the sheer power of our hatred would pull it down. But over the years, I spent so much of my time struggling, down on the surface, under the shield, and then later up here trying to keep the station alive, that I'd forgotten what it means to be free, to hate our Ur-Quan masters. And now here you are, in an alien ship of unknown power, offering me your assistance to fight against the hierarchy again after all these years. Captain, your offer is intriguing. It's tempting to think that with your advanced precursor technology, we can somehow crack the Earth's slave shield and reassemble the Alliance to attack the hierarchy. And this time, win the damn war. Consider the consequences if you should fail.
Everybody dies?
The Ur-Quan won't just punish us here on the station. They'll exact a gruesome retribution on the surface below as well. Before I commit this station to helping you attack the Ur-Quan and accepting the risk of annihilation if we are defeated, I have to make sure that you and your ship have what it takes to oppose the hierarchy. I'll make you a deal. If you can eliminate the alien base on the moon and get rid of that threat at least, I will seriously consider your offer.
We shall go now and neutralize the base. Or what details can you give us about the base on the moon? So let's just ask.
After the Ur-Quan erected the slave shield around the Earth and established this space station, they decided to leave a contingent of combat ships close to the Earth to keep watch on our planet and confirm that they were obeying the Ur-Quan slave laws. I'm certain they're still out there on the surface of the moon because we can pick up a constant stream of alien broadcasts.
Okay, so we should go and neutralize the base.
Be careful, Captain. There are probably a dozen Spathi eluders and Ilrath Avengers down there on the lunar surface. I don't know why they haven't come after you yet, but when they do, you'd better have your weapons armed and your thrusters burning hot.
And your thrusters burning hot, if you know what I mean. Alright, so we're supposed to go to the moon and kill people. Alright. Moon time. Time E. For some reason, the last key just gets pressed twice. I have no idea why. Navigate. So let's go to the moon. Very slowly turning. By the way, if there was the amount of things that he said that there are on the moon, I would be so dead. Oh, so dead, because I have crap. I have crap ships right now. So the green things are biological. This is the energy scan actually shows you that. The green things are biological and the minerals are minerals. But this is the moon, so we could just go ahead and, you know, just go ahead. Nothing big here. So this ship, by the way, now that I have a little bit more time to just show you stuff, they actually show you the mineral values at the bottom right, which is really nice of them to show you those so you can actually see, you can actually understand stuff, because usually you don't have that and you have to just remember. Wow, explosions and sound for the explosions. That's so new. So yeah, you got a little bit of a shooter thingy that you could do. No reason not to collect everything, because I'll be back to the space station later, and I have room. Just die. Yeah, but that's how the planet actually works. It's the edge of the planet. It doesn't actually loop around in terms of up down. It does loop around left right though. As you can see, that I could just keep on going to the left and I'll appear on the right side. Oh, did that blow up next to the thing? That's not supposed to happen. Or is it? Anyway, that's biodata, but it seems like drones and they don't actually leave any biodata to collect, which means it's kind of useless. And yeah, I can't collect any more of these. Another nice thing is that these things that I can't collect because I'm full, in the original game, it actually didn't collect it. It actually collected the entire. If there was if I had like room for 5 more, and that was a cluster of 20, it'll just pick up the entire 20, give you 5, but the 20 would be gone, which really sucks. So in the case that here it actually just subtracts and the thing is still there is really nice. Report from surface. We have discovered an alien base and have explored its interior. The installation must have been abandoned many years ago, but great care has been taken to make it appear active. Life support systems are functioning, fusion generators are at full output, and robotic construction vehicles have been programmed to roam the lunar surface, bulldozing moan dust into random piles. In addition, we have found the installation's hyperwave locked in transmit mode, endlessly playing the same alien recording. Although we cannot translate the message, our nanotech engine Rigby believes the message is some kind of alert or mayday broadcast. The base is filled with useful material and equipment. We will scavenge as much as we can and bring it aboard immediately. End of report. How they come back. So there's nothing there, which is kind of odd. And what I could do right now is go back to Hayes and tell him, Hayes is the commander, and tell him that there's nothing there. Okay, so let's do that now and see what happens there. Meantime, let's save and navigate. Okay.
Have you dealt with the base yet?
By the way, there's a really part of the amazing things that they've done with this game, that every single alien race that you talk to, and we've actually talked to humans now, and also the Ur-Quan, not only is the sound different, the music different, the visuals are different, but the font used for the text is also different. As you've noticed, the text there the font was really terrible, so it was hard for me to read it. But the text is actually different, the font, which is really interesting because it adds personality on top of what the visuals and the sound give you, and how the alien races communicate with you. And it's part of what makes this game really, really unique. We found the base was abandoned years ago.
I'll be darned. All these years we've been listening to their incoherent broadcast, and we never even guessed. Captain, listen closely. Long-range sensors show a ship closing on this station fast. Our computer identifies it as Ilrath, Avenger class. I think you've got a fight on your hands, Captain.
Woo!
Your best bet is to wait until you have point-blank range. Captain, it's jamming our signal.
Let's meet the Ilrath.
By the fetid breath of the Dark Twin Kazon, a human and an alien starship. How fascinating. When I intercepted that Ur-Quan drone and learned that an unidentified starship had approached Earth, I never expected to find such a remarkable vehicle in the hands of a human. Humans are prey animals, weak and helpless, but here is a human in an armed starship, and therefore in direct violation of the oath of fealty. I am sure our masters, the Ur-Quan, will punish Earth most severely for this treachery when I present them with the twisted wreckage of your ship and your many charred corpses.
Woo! So yeah, that's Ilrath. They're kind of dicks. Yeah, they're part of they're evil, and they're part of the Ur-Quan's hierarchy of battle thralls. So when the Ur-Quan I'm actually giving you a little bit of exposition, which we will get later on, but I'm telling you anyways, just so you're aware and don't get completely lost in whatever's going on here. When the Ur-Quan conquer you, you can do two things. Either become slave planets, which you've seen, which basically means you're under a giant red energy shield and you can't do anything, or you obey them, an oath of fealty, and you just, you're their part of the battle thralls. So, where the hell did you come from? I will be a pleasure blasting your ugly face out of the stars. Look, let's be reasonable. We can coexist peacefully, so I can be nice, and I can be a bitch, and none of that will matter because he will attack me. So, it'll be a pleasure blasting your ugly face out of the stars.
I have no fear of you, feeble mammal. Though my ship lacks a functioning cloaking device, and many of our crew are dead, my gods, Dogar the Black and Kazon the Unseen have personally confided to me that they despise you humans, and that they will help us to kill you all.
So each ship, let's talk a little bit about combat before we get into it. Each ship in the game has two things that it could do, a normal attack and a special attack. The way that the combat actually works is you have HP and you have battery. Batteries are very different. The amount of HP is basically your crew. Both of those are different. If you lose all your crew, your ship explodes. And your battery, there's different types of recharging it and different things that it does. The specials are very different. There's a ton of ships, and we'll probably won't get to see all of them playing the game, but we'll see most of them. And there's also the main ship, which currently doesn't have any weapons, so taking that will be really stupid. But I can take this Earthling ship, and I'll be fighting an Ilrath. I'm not sure of the cyborg levels of the enemy right now. I should probably check that. But the Ilrath have two things, a close range flame and a cloaking device. And what he said is that they don't have a lot of crew and they don't have the cloaking device, also known as this is a tutorial fight. So it's much easier because they don't have a lot of crew and they don't have the cloaking device, so they're completely visible and they're easy to defeat. Which is what's going to happen here. Hopefully I won't take any damage. This depends on randomly where our positions will be. So hopefully it'll be favorable. Okay. Okay, that's bad. Okay, that's bad. That's bad. That's bad. Okay, that's good. I managed to hit him. There you go. So yeah, you can see the Earthling, And
What a beautiful sight, Captain. I haven't seen an Avenger blown away like that since the battle in Draco. I guess you've shown that you can handle yourself in battle, Captain. So my last reservation about helping you has been dissolved. I will commit this station to helping free Earth and defeat the Ur-Quan. We may get our atoms rearranged in the process, but by God, Captain, we're going to try. Yeah. So the obvious first step is to get the precursor equipment and software over here so that we can make it work with our ship repair fabricators. But then what, Captain?
So just to go back a little bit to the fight, you can see everything on the right side. There's tiny little animations, a small window of animations that they've also made HD. Every key that I press, there's a little bit of animation, so that it's like they're actually using things in order to move. And it's also true for the computer opponent. Every key that they press, every movement that they do, in action, you could see them like moving depending on the alien race, which is really sweet little touch. But yeah, they use their fire in order to kill the projectile that I created, so I had to just do it a couple of times until I managed to actually get at them. And it's sort of homing projectile, not the best homing projectile, but it's a homing projectile. The ship moves pretty slowly, the Earthling ship, and the special attack is just a laser that's right next to you, almost melee range, and it's kind of crap. But yeah, the missiles work and ranged, and it's fine. So, then, Commander, we will proceed to kick some major alien butt. Trust me, Commander, I have a plan, a really good plan, but for now it must remain secret, which is stupid. We will slowly build our strength, unify an allied Starfleet, and bring the Ur-Quan to their knee equivalents. Because they don't really have knees. Yeah, let's go with that.
A sensible plan, Captain. Let's get to work. Good luck. By the way, Captain, I think we need a name for this new alliance we're going to forge. And since it was your idea, it's only fair that you get the honor of naming it. So, what will it be?
Well, the New Alliance of Free Stars, which makes a lot of sense, and, you know, it's pretty awesome. The Concordance of Alien Nations, that's adorable. The United Federation of Worlds, or the Empire of KOKOStern.
Well, you're the one with the big starship.
Woo!
So be it. Now, Captain, I expect the configuration process for the starbase to take at least 2 weeks, so let's get to work.
February 23rd, 2155. So 2 weeks forward.
I have good news to report, Captain. We have successfully integrated the precursor technology from your ship into our fabricator system, and as you can see, we've already begun minor repairs on your ship, patching up some of the micrometeorite holes. We noticed that your ship does not have an emergency warp escape unit, so our engineers rigged up some for you and each of your escorts. Now, you should be able to escape from a bad situation with the touch of a button. But there is a cost, however. The unit gulps up 5 fuel units each time your precursor ship uses it. Also, we now have a limited capacity to make modifications to your ship, to refine starship fuel, to build additional combat ships, and to train new members of your crew for the flagship and any ships you acquire for your fleet. Captain, I know you're eager to get to work, so I'll be brief. If you have any questions how this starbase works, what resources we need, or just some background information on the galaxy, don't hesitate to ask.
Alright, so we're in there. 2 weeks, he said 2 weeks, and that's really the time to talk about time. Yeah, I just said that. Time actually moves. Time actually moves when I play. No matter when, time actually moves. And time matters. There are events that are triggered by time. It is also possible to do enough random crap and not advance the story and not do important things that you run out of time and bad things start happening and you lose the game. So this is actually a very difficult game for a first timer. I'm not a first timer. I know most of what I'm supposed to do, and I remember a lot of things, and I might even look up a couple of things just in case I need to, because I want to get through the game a little bit quickly, and I think it'll be more enjoyable for playing this, for me to actually do things that matter and not random crap. But we are gonna just play it organically for the most part, I hope. And yeah, so now let's get through the starbase, the ship, and a little bit of exposition. There's a lot of exposition here. You can talk for hours, but let's try and make it a little bit faster than that. So before proceeding, I have minerals to offload. So first of all, I do. And then he takes them and actually gives me RUs.
The more minerals you bring us, Captain, the faster we'll be able to tackle the Ur-Quan.
So resources units, RUs, are written right there, and that's really your currency for the game. for the most part, not the only currency that you have. So, goodbye, Commander, or before proceeding, some additional background information. So let's actually hear a little bit about this. If you don't care at all, then you should care. I mean, this game is really about the world. The world is the amazing part here, less the actual gameplay, I'd even say that, and talking to alien races, which is what we're really doing for the most part. So if that doesn't interest you, well, that sucks. But I think it's really cool.
Certainly, Captain. What do you need to know?
Alright, so what would you elaborate on the facilities here in the starbase? I think we don't really need to do that, but we'll do it a little bit quickly. Maybe I'll move through the conversation, because please note that there is a bar, and we're right now at the stop, so it's right here. But I can actually move if I press left. It actually goes through a sentence backwards.
Certainly, Captain. Certainly.
So it goes through, and I can actually move through and hear things again, but only in the current conversation, in the current frame that we're in. Would you elaborate on the facility?
We can modify your precursor ship, build additional combat vessels, and supply you with fuel and crew.
Okay, that's good. What can you enhance and modify the Koko ship?
Our engineers and precursor specialists agree with the scientists from your world that your starship was designed to be a workhorse vehicle, which can be easily reconfigured for different missions by adding or swapping self-contained equipment packs, which we call modules. The modules we can build right now are thruster units, which fuel, and last but not least, ion bolt guns. Put in the first and put in the third, and when put in the.
Okay, so I passed all of that because he basically tells me all the modules. It's slow and it's very obvious if you just go and look at them, so we'll do that in a bit. How will I get fuel?
This base is designed to service hierarchy ships. Fortunately, your flagship uses the same stabilized antimatter technology as hierarchy vessels and will be able to synthesize what you need. However, due to the size of your ship, we'll have to produce vast quantities of fuel, which will be a substantial drain on our...
Fuel costs money, is what he tried to say. How can I assemble a fleet of fighting ships?
Our shipyard facilities are sophisticated and fully automated, permitting a handful of starbase personnel to do the same job as 500 vac-suited construction workers. However, the only designs that we had in our computers were incomplete hierarchy ship designs. Things looked grim until one of the officers came forward with an amazing story. Even though the Ur-Quan destroyed every Earthling cruiser in the fleet nearly 20 years ago, one of my maintenance engineers was a starship production assistant at the Detroit shipyard. When Earth was conquered, she was ordered to destroy all ship construction databases. But she secretly made copies of the blueprint discs and then kept them with her ever since. These discs contain all the data we need to build as many Earthling cruisers as you want, provided you, Captain, can supply the large amounts of mineral resources required to build those vessels. In theory, Captain, we could build alien starships here if we had designs for them. However, it's a well-known fact that alien vessels just can't be flown in combat without native starship captains at the helm.
Basically, if I find allies and they become my allies, I can build other starships to put in my fleet. And you can see that I have a limited amount of space at the right side where there's the annoying bug. I currently have only one Earthling ship, but I could have more in the future. How will we acquire additional personnel for my ship?
We have almost 2,000 highly motivated, skilled professionals aboard this starbase, and every single one of them wants a berth aboard your starship. However, each hand we lose to your ship means less manpower here at the starbase, and this is reflected in the crew RU cost. As long as you don't lose too many crew members to combat or planet exploration, the RU cost will remain static. But we have only so many warm bodies on this starbase, and if your needs for crew grow beyond a certain point, the cost could increase dramatically.
Basically, don't take infinite crew because it's just cost more and more. Probably never happen. Would you please explain your resource allocation system?
As you know, Captain, we've committed the entire output of this station to building your flagship and your battle fleet into the strongest force possible.
Yeah!
However, our resources are very limited, and we feel you must decide how we are to spend our effort and materials. To aid you in making these decisions, we have implemented a resource allocation scheme. We provide you with a numerical assessment of the station's resources and ascribe a cost to each task we can perform and each device we can build. It's up to you to decide how you're going to spend your resource units, or RU as we call them. To acquire more RU, you must bring resources back to the starbase. These resources can be either in the form of mineral ores gathered from planet surfaces or already refined metals and other valuable materials from the wreckage of enemy starships.
Basically, if I collect minerals on different planets, I get more minerals, and if I fight other ships, I could also get minerals. What are the most useful to our mission? Well, that's kind of obvious.
The most straightforward way you can accumulate to
Resources.
bring mineral ores back to this starbase. There are probably enough resources in just the nearby to build your ship into a power. Create a strong test. Also recommend that you build several additional storage bays. When gathering minerals, focus on cleaning out one star system. Way you minimize the cost.
So in terms of minimize the cost of hyperspace travel, so if you just go to a single area and take up all the stars there, and then go to another area and take up all the stars there, you want to minimize hyperspace travel because hyperspace travel costs a lot of fuel, which also costs money. And that's it. You just build a lot of store units and you just go and you just do it. Now, this is kind of the I don't want to say boring part because I enjoy it and it's interesting, but if it could get tedious, and that's why we're probably going to go into specific areas that I know, because people have checked already, have a lot of resources, and just do it that way. It still means we still have work to do, but less because we'll be targeting the correct areas. This is slightly cheating, but it simply speeds up the process. Instead of doing it a ton, we'll have to do it less. So it's not, I don't feel bad about it in that sense. What use our planet lander's sophisticated lifeform analysis features?
While I respect your search for abstract knowledge, frankly, Captain, in our present circumstances, I see little. Perhaps you could make use of biological.
So yeah, I can collect biological data, but he doesn't give a shit for it. There are others who will. We'll get there. You've answered my question on this topic.
What else can I...
So, facilities here in the starbase, we just did that. I would like some historical data, would like to input on how we can defeat the Ur-Quan.
Can you be more
Where can I find useful, plentiful mineral resources?
If you have the patience, I would recommend you spend several months or even a year gathering mineral resources. You can find such minerals on almost any planet's surface, but the quality and density will vary. These metals are probably the most common materials you'll find, but they aren't particularly valuable. You can find rarer precious and radioactive elements on metal-rich worlds such as Mercury. An old miner once told me that you could tell the relative quality of a planet's minerals based on the planet's color as seen from space. Remember the color sequence from good to bad? The miner had a mnemonic that went something like, very young orangutan could grow bananas perhaps rather well. It is also the case that mineral yields will be better at hotter stars. Temperature is related to the size and color of a star. Red stars are the coolest, then orange, yellow, green, blue, and the hottest stars are white.
So what he said was that
remember the color on the planet. Remember the color sequence. Remember the color
from
sequence.
good to bad.
The miner had a mnemonic that went something like, very young orangutan could grow bananas perhaps rather well.
So W was the last one, so that's white. And you kind of infer that from what he's saying.
Red temperature is related to red stars are the coolest, then
orange, yellow, green, blue,
and the
hottest stars are white. So that's like what you could try and remember. I could actually write that down.
Miner had a mnemonic that went something like, very young orangutan could grow bananas perhaps rather well. It is also the case that mineral yields will be better at hotter stars.
So that
temperature is related to the size and color of the star.
Red.
Red stars are the coolest,
and then orange, yellow,
green, blue, and the hottest stars are white.
So red, so from very good to bad, so very young orangutans, V is nothing, but Y is yellow. So yellow is the best. So yellow is the best. And then it's yellow, and then it's green, right? Could grow bananas perhaps rather well. Orangutan, oh wait, young orangutan, so orange is after that. So it's yellow, orange, could grow banana perhaps rather well, and then it's red, blue, red, and then white. White is like the crappiest. So I think that's what it means. And maybe I fucked it up? No, I think that's okay. Yeah. I could do this so we can see all of it. So I want yellow stars are better. Okay, that's cool. That's a cool little way of remembering it. But luckily I have a captain's log, so I could just write it down. How should I deal with aliens I meet in space?
That all depends on whom you meet, doesn't it, Captain? In all seriousnness, if you encounter the
Ur-Quan, Vox,
Androsynth, or other hierarchy battle thralls, I wouldn't hold out much hope for a peaceful encounter.
They'll just kill you.
So if you feel you have the advantage, attack. The resources you will scavenge from the enemy's wreckage are well worth the effort. If you can find Alliance races who are in a position to help us, then you must convince them to join with us. Their assistance may be crucial to our success.
But he also said that they installed escape warp drives or whatever. So if I'm in combat, I could actually press escape in order to kind of not be able to move for a few seconds, which is really, really bad in the middle of combat. So you have to use that very correctly and try and be as far away as possible from the enemy ship. Press it, you can't move for 5 seconds, and then you warp out, and you could try and escape from there, unless the alien ship is faster than you are, which can definitely happen. But it costs 5 fuel, which is a ton of fuel, especially now that I only have like 7. So I'll have more, but yeah. If you're in my shoes, what would you do now? Not gonna ask him. Well,
You need to build up and balance the strength of your
flagship.
I would add thrusters. This is essential in combat if you prefer to avoid confrontation. Nothing beats. I would add turning jets for increased maneuverability. I would add enough weapons to defend yourself if you're caught without escort ship.
Should happen.
You need more crew, at least 50 to make. You need additional fuel, at least. Your weapons will be underpowered in combat if you don't have at least 1 dynamo. Use the resource units you have accumulated.
Basically improve your flagships because it sucks. How can we deal with the Ur-Quan?
Captain, I wish I had an easy answer, but I don't. The only way I can see of liberating Earth as well as the Alliance allies is to destroy the Ur-Quan and their armada of battle thralls entirely.
Well, yeah, we can't do that now. Do you have any long-range plans to defeat the Ur-Quan hierarchy? Oh yeah, we can press shift in order to just... We can press shift in order to just see the text, which is nice.
To defeat our enemies, we will need awesome strength, both in your flagship and the fleet, as well as the assistance of powerful new allies. Though combat will be unavoidable and sometimes necessary, I'm certain your wits will be at least as important as your weapons. You'll need to explore this region of space, gathering resources and information wherever you go.
Yep. So, how can I find the Ur-Quan? How can we attack the Ur-Quan most effectively?
I don't know, Captain, but I suspect their battle thralls know more than we do, so I suggest you try to gather information from them, perhaps by force.
How can we attack the Ur-Quan most effectively?
At first, your ship will be far too vulnerable to permit frontal assaults on the Ur-Quan. Even when your ship is at full power, we're faced with the reality that the hierarchy has thousands of ships.
Yay.
You cannot win the fight alone, Captain. You need allies. Also, towards the end of the war, when the hierarchy broke through the Corward front, we heard rumors that the Ur-Quan had unleashed some kind of super weapon which was unstoppable by normal means.
Yep.
You need to find out if that rumor was true, Captain, because if the Ur-Quan do have such a weapon, we'll have to find some way to stop it, or all our efforts are for naught.
Yep. How can I make alliances and with whom?
If you encounter an unknown alien race, proceed carefully and diplomatically. We need all the friends we can get, and we certainly can't afford any more enemies. Remember, Captain, with your precursor starship, you hold awesome power. But there will be situations when dealing with an alien race where a carrot will serve better than a stick. But first, you must determine what carrot the alien wants.
That's a nice little analogy. First, you must determine what carrot the alien wants. What is the fastest way to build up our strength?
You need to accumulate enough resources. And
well, resources, whatever.
What else can
let's
we
move. I've learned everything I
else
need to
can
know. So, basically what's left is historical data. Let's do just a little bit at least, because this is just really interesting to learn the history of this world and understand what the hell, of this universe really, and understand what the hell's going on.
What aspect of history, Captain?
I'd like to know about the other starfaring races.
Which group of aliens?
There's a lot. So the member of the old alliance, which we lost.
Okay. Which race?
So it's just it goes in, it goes in, and goes in, it goes in. They show Fixty, so we can just learn about them. Let's pass this because we'll meet most of them, I guess. Well, let's see how fast this is.
The Shofixti are a race of intelligent marsupials who had been civilized for only...
It's gonna be super long. So you know what? Let's not do this because we'll meet most of them.
What other group of...
The battle thralls of the hierarchies is again the same. It's just what a lot of stuff. We can do this later. Maybe we'll do this another time. Where are the alien races who weren't? If you want me to just go through these things, let me know. I'll do that next time maybe. Were there any alien races who weren't in the war?
None that we had made formal contact with. The Chen Jesu implied that they had met 2 other star-faring species, one near the Gickless constellation and the other directly Corward from Procyon. The Ur-Lalile once mentioned having some fun with an alien race in Draconis, but like so much else with the Ur-Lu, they never revealed the whole story. I'm sure there are hundreds more alien races in our galaxy, but beyond what I've told you...
So, this is parts where you start writing stuff. So, there's one near the Gickless okay, possible races. In the Gickless, and Procyon, and the Ur-Lalile mentioned that they have some fun with Draconis. Okay, so we've got those constellations down, and we might. Why is everything in bold? Yeah. Can you see that? If now it's less bolden, so maybe I'll just keep everything bold so you can see it a little bit better. Let me know if you want me to change the font. I think it's okay, but whatever. Okay, so possible races are there. That is okay. Sufficient information subject. Ancient galactic history. Is in the war against the hierarchy. This is interesting.
What about the war?
How did the war with the Ur-Quan start?
Earth got involved late in the game in 2112 when the Chenjesu arrived in our solar system for the first time. So let's back up a few years to 2098 when the Chenjesu super-sensitive receivers detected a strange signal from the Ophiuchi constellation. Though even the Chenjesu didn't know it, it was the first sign of the Ur-Quan's arrival. The Ur-Quan, having detected the presence of many sentient species, were beaming out an exulting hunting cry. The first direct evidence of the Ur-Quan's intent was the sudden conquest of the Umga, a solitary though not unfriendly species in the Orionis constellation. The Chenjesu, distraught by the invasion, were further angered when the Ur-Quan turned their fleets on the hostile but weak Chenjesu. Was the sudden conquest of the Umga, a solitary though not unfriendly species in the Orionis constellation. The Chenjesu, distraught by the invasion, were further angered when the Ur-Quan turned their fleets on the hostile but weak Ilrath race. A hastily assembled defense force of Myrna Hermann Chenjesu vessels turned the Ur-Quan fleet aside, but the invader moved into Spathi space, rapidly subjugating that race. With each new conquest, the Ur-Quan fleet grew larger as it added slave vessels to its ranks.
Yeah.
Earth joined the Chenjesu to form the Alliance of Free Stars at about the same time as the Androsynth stars fell to the Ur-Quan armada. Before the ink was dry on our agreement with the Chenjesu in 2116, a new race appeared in orbit around the moon and asked for admittance to the Alliance. It was the Ur-Lalile. Timing seemed unusual, and the Ur-Lu were definitely weird, looking like saucer men from Mars, but we were too busy cranking up our mothballed heavy industry that we really didn't pay it much attention at the time.
So yeah, you can get. You're seeing me writing stuff. I'm getting a lot of information out of this, knowing where these races are, such as the Umgars in the Orionis system, which is helpful to know. What happened during the war?
At the start of the war, here on Earth, we were working like crazy, churning out hundreds of heavy cruisers and smaller support vehicles. The Ur-Quan were busy too. Unbeknownst to us, they had moved down towards the Luton Star Group and were attacking the Vux, who only the Yehat knew existed. Our botched first contact with the Vux took place in 21, where the Ur-Quan were busy too. Unbeknownst to us, they had moved down towards the Luton Star Group and were attacking the Vux, who only the Yehat knew existed. Our botched first contact with the Vux took place in 2119, and it was the biggest single mistake we made during the war.
Oh, this is a good one.
After defeating the Vux, the Ur-Quan fleets ran smack into the combined might of the Yehat and Shofixti, supported by the first wave of our cruisers. Again, the Ur-Quan turned away from the hard spot to attack the weak, though we just thought they were running away. In fact, the Ur-Quan had found another independent alien race, the Mycon, in the Brahi constellation. The Mycon's voluntary submission to the Ur-Quan brought the return of the Ur-Quan fleets, now swollen with 100 devastating Mycon pod ships. The last entrants to the conflict were the Cyrene, a race of space gypsies who had escaped the hierarchy by moving their vast fleet of slow-moving habitats into human space. With the side set, the last Ur-Quan offensive began.
Okay, so the Mycon and Brahe, and Luton system is the Vux. I should... Vux? Wait, no. I should write it in the correct... Wait, the Vux, and Luton, and Umga and Orions. It's hard for you to tell. I remember the names of the races, but the first word is the name of the race, and the second word is the name of the constellation where the race is. So, how'd the war end?
The Ur-Quan came roaring through Vux space and tried to push past the India and Mira star systems. Their onslaught was barely repulsed, and our counterattack made hardly a dent in the hierarchy forces, but we held the line. The Corward front remained intact. Over the following 10 years, there were many great battles between the combined Alliance Starfleet and the Ur-Quan and their hierarchy of battle thralls. Then in 2134, a dramatic shift in the balance of power took place. This must have been about the time the science research mission was sent to the planet of Vela. Our fleets were pushed back from the Indy-Mira line beyond Raynet. Holding Rigel caused grievously in Chenjesu forces, and the Ur-Quan, recognizing this weakness, shifted to focus the brunt of their forces on Procyon. That was the last we heard from the Chenjesu and the Murnaher. A few weeks later, waves of ships hit us from all directions. When Ceres Station, our outpost on the asteroid belt, fell to the hierarchy, we knew we were beaten, but we fought on anyway. 3 days later, the Ur-Quan vaporized our last remaining laser forts on the moon, and the dreadnoughts took up geosynchronous position above Rome, Moscow, Beijing, Tokyo, London, Buenos Aires, and Washington. We'd lost the war, and we knew it. But the Ur-Quan decided to make it real clear. And that's why if you check any of our most recent maps, you won't find Buenos Aires.
No, Buenos Aires! It's dead. Okay, what happened after the war? Oh, God.
After the UN submitted their formal surrender, we were given a week to decide the nature of our servitude. The Ur-Quan demanded that the decision be made through popular vote. When all the votes were tallied, Earth had chosen not to fight for the Ur-Quan. We had become a fallow slave world. We were given a month to withdraw all of our people and equipment to Earth. Anyone or anything left off planet would be destroyed after the shield went up. Then the Ur-Quan broadcast an odd message. All objects of human construction more than 500 years old were to be abandoned. We didn't know what the Ur-Quan meant until they moved their dreadnoughts into new orbital positions and opened fire on the surface with their fusion weapons. In seconds, large sections of London, Paris, and other European cities were incinerated. At first, we thought they were going to annihilate us after all. And we noticed they were also striking such targets as the Giza Pyramids, the Parthenon in Athens, and Stonehenge. Curiously, the United States was almost untouched. The flaming rain lasted 40 hellish hours. It took days after we crawled from our smoldering shelters to realize what the Ur-Quan had done. Our new masters had targeted every building, monument, or other man-made construction older than 500 years and destroyed it. In those 2 days, we lost most of the history of mankind. In some cases, the Ur-Quan destroyed places we did not even suspect were significant. From their positions in orbit, the dreadnoughts blew away a kilometer of land in central Iraq, vaporized several targets in the Amazon rainforest, punched a big hole through the Antarctic ice cap to destroy something deep under the surface, and melted a broad swath of the ocean floor in the southeastern Atlantic. Then, just a couple of days later, the shield went up, and our contact with the outside world stopped. The next time I saw the stars was 8 years ago, when I was transferred up here to be the new commander of this starbase.
So, that's really interesting and everything. And there's only one tiny little point. They destroyed everything that's in human history, but it wasn't only to screw with us culturally and to, you start from now on, and now this is the beginning of your race. You don't even think about what happened beforehand, which is obviously terrifying. But they also try to destroy everything that might have had alien connections in the past, and it's later implied, or they kind of tell you to your face, the Arilu Lalile, which we will meet, tell you that they kind of helped our race in the past. Roswell and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. And by the way, the last thing I can say is that they destroyed seemingly random places, such as the middle of the ocean. That was Atlantis. Yeah, that was actually confirmed by the creators of the game, that, yeah, they destroyed Atlantis. I mean, come on. Obviously. So, thanks, Commander, for the briefing.
Would you like any...
Anything from ancient galactic history?
We have some data on this subject.
Precursors, we don't know anything. Indication alien visited Earth in the past?
Yes, there is. Aside from the precursor relics we have found on Earth, often in museums mislabeled as modern art, we've discovered disturbing evidence of much more recent visitation. Perhaps you're already aware that during the mid to late 20th century, there were unaccountable UFO sightings as well as dozens of reported encounters with alien life forms. Although we can discount many of the reports as wishful fabrication or traumatic translation, the military authorities of the time kept a secret record of the incidents which were legitimate. In each such case, the aliens are almost identical in appearance. They have white skin and minimal facial features except for huge almond-shaped eyes, which are often described as glowing or luminescent. This description fits almost perfectly the Arielu Lalile. In most of the legitimate encounters, the people involved describe being physically examined or modified by the aliens. In some cases, unusual pregnancies occurred, and in almost every instance, there were repeat visitations as though the Arielu Lalile were doing checkups on their subjects. We never got the chance to confront the Arielu Lalile about what they did to us and why. I wonder if we ever will.
Not really. They kind of don't say much. So this is fascinating,
Would
but
you
I
like
must move
information
on.
on any other aspect of history?
That's like the truest thing. This is fascinating, but we got other stuff to do. So no more history, thank you. I think we're gonna be done for now. There's, as you saw, there's a ton of more things that we could just sit here for like another 40 minutes.
Fine.
Goodbye, Commander.
Bring back lots of
minerals, Captain. So yeah. Not anything too much that we can... We're fine. We're fine. So, outfit start shipyard and depart start base. So let's just check out these menus. First of all, we're gonna up the fuel, and you can actually see it, the fuel actually going up as we fill it up. You can see there at the edge, at this thing. Can you even see my mouse? Maybe you can see my mouse. So yeah, I filled up the fuel, and I can save the game as well. But modules. So what modules do I actually have? I can actually get other landers and just pay for an additional lander. I really don't want to do that because there's no real reason for it. And in terms of these, this is the back. You can see that these areas are a little bit different, the part on the right and at the end, because those are for weapons. It doesn't have to be for weapons, but those are the areas where you can actually have weapons. And they have different purposes. So if you put a weapon that just shoots a ball, let's say, photon, whatever, then if you put it here in the forward part, then it shoots straight. If you put it here, it shoots to both sides. If you shoot at the back, it shoots to the back. So that's interesting. As an example, yeah, I could get like an ion bolt gun, which is the basic stuff that I could put right now. This is a storage bay, which just gets, you know, more storage so you can collect more stuff, more minerals that we talked about earlier. Crew pod, an amount of crew, which I'll put at the maximum in a second. I don't really need much more crew than what I have right now. Fuel tank, which maximum fuel. And the most important things, which are these, just antimatter thrusters, which allow me to move faster and turning jets. So the first thing that we're gonna just add is really these. We want maximum all of the antimatter thrusters and the turning jets. It's literally the most important thing. There's nothing more important than that to me. You just want to move fast because otherwise you're just super slow. And you notice most of these things cost like 2,000 or stuff like that. Fuel tank, dynamo unit. To explain dynamo, remember that I said that you have a battery when you shoot stuff. So if I put guns, I actually have one. Oh, I actually have an iron bolt gun. Oh, so there's 3 of them. Okay, so that's good because that means that I can... Oh god, no, I meant module. I can actually press enter here and remove it. And by removing it, I get 2,000 RUs. So my main vessel doesn't actually have a gun now. But that's fine because it's so slow. So it doesn't really matter. I'm gonna finish all the turning jets, actually, and add on 1 thruster. So now I just need 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, and 500 in order to finish up all of the antimatter thrusters. But I already have all of the turning jets, which is really useful. Maybe I can even, just remove one of these. Note that there's no buy and sell value. I mean, I could customize whatever I want. I always get the full cost. And the reason for that is that I'm not buying from a merchant. They want to help me. It just literally costs resources to build stuff. So it makes sense. And it's cool. Okay, so we're gonna save the game. Well, wait, no. Let's actually exit this menu and go into the shipyard. In terms of our crew, we're gonna give one more, and we can actually ask for another Earthling cruiser, but that's the only ship that we can ask for, and we don't really want to do that. We don't need another ship. So we're gonna depart the starbase, and our job from now on. Note how navigate, how fast I can rotate now. I still don't move very quickly when I thrust, but the turning is really important, is more important. So yeah, we're going to save the game, and the next thing that we're going to do is explore Seoul. We're going to explore Seoul because there's a little bit to exploring to be done. We'll talk about that next time, and then we're going to look up a few for some resources. We're going to explore the surrounding areas in order to find good resources, build up our ship a little bit, and then start exploring and finding alien races. There's a lot of alien races to find. So that was the first Let's Play. I really hope we'll manage to finish this. I'm going to try and churn out 2 or 3 videos per week. And hope this has been fun. I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Thanks for watching.